Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movies Actually, where we give you an honest review of the movies we've meddled with so mischievously over at Maybe Movies. And this time, we are talking about Die Hard. Classic movie. This is the 1988 film produced by Joel Silver, directed by John McTiernan, and starring the talents of Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bonnie Bedelia, thank you. I can't even read my own writing sometimes. Paul Gleason, Reginald VelJohnson, and William Atherton.
And if you want to take a step down as well, also including the talents of Robert Davi, who would go on to bigger things, especially as being the main Bond villain in License to Kill.
Aha!
So, first of all, thank you for joining us again on our seasonal episode. And
Indeed.
Best of the season to you all.
Oh, indeed.
Yep. We've traded up the mulled wine for port. We're on to the good stuff now.
Sweet port. Oh, it is sweet, though.
Yes, I know you're going to say we should be drinking it out of liqueur glasses or port glasses, but screw it.
Who said we were sophisticated?
Exactly.
Definitely not us.
Oh dear, what a film.
It's a great movie. It's one of those classics on multiple levels. It's a great action movie. Mm-hmm. It's a great Bruce Willis movie. And it's a great Christmas movie. Hence the decorations.
And regardless of what Bruce Willis may have said in an awards thing, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, screw you, Bruce. You obviously haven't looked at the script close enough or even watched your own freaking movie.
It's also a movie of firsts as well. So it was the first proper sort of blockbuster film for Bruce Willis, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd done a couple of films before this, but they'd kind of tanked. The only way that they got him to do it, or the way that they kind of counteracted the initial audience reaction to the idea of him being in an action film, was to make him the most expensive paid actor at the time by paying him $5 million to do it.
Oh God, I remember that now. Oh my God, there was such a to-do about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I was actually a long-time Bruce Willis fan. I loved the show Moonlighting. I think I caught it like halfway through its first season, so I didn't see every single episode, but I saw most of it. Loved it to pieces. It's not just Bruce Willis. It was Sybil Shepherd. It was what's his face who plays Booger in the Revenge of the Nerd movies.
Oh yes, I can never remember.
He was their assistant, wasn't he? I can't remember the name of the actor. I apologise if you're seeing this, but I loved those shows. That show. And then they said, he's going to be a movie star. He's going to be an action star. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, Willis.
Which was generally sorry, I'll come on to that in a second. But yeah, not only for that, obviously first for him, but also it was Alan Rickman's first film. Because obviously he'd been...
Was it his first film?
Yeah, he was...
Wasn't Truly Madly Deeply before that?
Oh, possibly. Possibly, because I know he was mainly known as a Shakespearean and as a Broadway actor.
But that was a TV movie. I think that was a BBC movie.
Okay, so it was his first theatrical release.
Yeah.
Also, Reginald VelJohnson, who plays Powell. That was his first movie.
Yes. So I understand I actually had a long-running role as a policeman on one of the sitcoms he was in during the 80s.
I didn't know. All I know is he went to the audition. He beat Wesley Snipes.
He beat Wesley. I didn't know that. No, maybe I've got it back to front. Maybe he went on from this to play a long-running cop character on a TV show. But I know people often said that the comedy character he played and Al are basically the same character.
Oh, wow. It's a shame. It was such a shame because he did such a good job in this film that they kind of did the dirty on him in number 2. He's in it, but only briefly.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I haven't seen that movie for, oh God.
Well, we make them on
28 years?
We're not talking about number 2. We're talking about this one.
Yeah.
But yes, it was definitely, there was a lot of firsts in this film. The story itself, I mean, I must admit, sorry, before I go any further, as you may have guessed, we've been on the porch for a while.
Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
I honestly can't remember. I don't remember when I first saw it.
No, I was thinking about that earlier on. And I remember watching it when it came out on video, because it was the new big thing. But when that was, what time of year it was, I can't for the life of me remember. I think I remember the effect it had on school culture. Because literally within a week, Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker was the thing to say to people
Absolutely.
at school at that point. But yeah, well, I suppose it was either 88 or early 89, because the movie was in 1988.
Well, because it was released in July, wasn't it? In the States, I think it was released in July.
Okay. Which would have meant a kind of Christmas time release for the UK.
Yeah.
So we would have seen it in 89 then.
Yeah.
On video.
Definitely.
I didn't see it at the cinema. It was definitely on video.
No, definitely didn't see that, which is a shame. What's it about? So, Die Hard, the original story for this, is based on a book called Nothing Lasts Forever.
Well remembered.
Which was written by Roderick Thorpe, which was a sequel to a book that he wrote in the 60s called The Detective, which was made into a movie with Sinatra. Sinatra loved the character, and he liked doing the film so much that he approached Roderick Thorpe and said, I want a sequel. And he went off and wrote Nothing Lasts Forever, which took him about 10 years.
Really? I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
By which time Sinatra was too old, so they shelved any plans of doing a film. And it wasn't until the late 80s that somebody went, look at this, we've got this property hanging around, let's do something with it.
But interestingly, because Sinatra had been originally involved, he had a contractual right to claim the right to play the character.
Yeah.
And so when it first came to casting the character for the movie, they literally had to take it to Sinatra, who at the time I think was in his mid-60s.
Must have been
or late 60s, possibly.
Late 60s.
And asked him if he wanted to play the character. And it was only once he'd said no that they could then go back and rewrite the script to make it a younger character and create what we now know as Die Hard.
Which apparently the first screenwriter, he'd envisioned Clint in the role, and they did offer it to Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
And apparently
because they were still playing for an older character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently he sent the script back, writing on it, I don't get the humour. Which was apparently edited by John McTiernan. That was one of his conditions for agreeing to direct it. A lot of this is, again, it's an amalgamation of things. A lot of the things that are in this film are because of different people's input.
Well, isn't that always the way?
Yes. So there was the original scriptwriter who adapted Roderick Thorpe's book.
Yeah.
In which there were terrorists.
Yes, of course.
John McTiernan was browbeaten by Joel Schumacher multiple times to do it because he kept turning it down.
Joel Schumacher or Joel Silver?
Joel Silver, that's the one. I'm just going to point at the port glass and then you'll know what I mean. What's going on?
Too much.
John McTiernan said, okay, I'll do it, but nobody likes terrorists. There's no fun in them, so make them robbers. And and
that's why they enter as terrorists but reveal themselves to be robbers.
Yeah.
So they kept the original premise but made it a ruse.
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
And then he wanted some lightheartedness in it, which the original screenwriter couldn't deliver. So they got the second screenwriter in to add those elements into, like the bits with the SWAT team and all of those kind of things. All of the humour was added by the second scriptwriter.
Well, that's amazing.
Who was writing while they were shooting. He
did not know that.
He was literally like pages ahead of them while they were filming.
Well, there you go, folks. You learn something new every day. That's amazing, because without that comedy, because, I mean, obviously a lot of the comedy comes from McClane.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, he wouldn't be the character he is today.
No, exactly. Which, I suppose we'll have to say it, they obviously completely forgot about and destroyed completely in the last one, in number 5, which is just terrible. Don't bother. Literally, do not bother. It's a shit film.
I'll be honest, I haven't yet, so I don't know. I don't...
He has an extra couple of hours of life that have not been tainted by a bad film. Be like Sam.
Freedom.
I would like to read the original book. I'll be interested to see how much is different.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. I understand in the original story that what we know as Holly was actually his daughter, not his wife. So that, amongst other things, completely changes the context of things going on. And don't want to spoil things, but I understand it's got a much darker ending.
I mean, maybe we should have a look at The Detective as well, because I've never watched that, which is the original one with Sinatra.
I've never seen it. Never seen it. It wasn't until a few years ago that I'd even heard of it.
No.
And it was only in reference to the fact that it was technically Die Hard is the sequel to The Detective.
But if you are looking for an alternative holiday film, it is the kind of de facto. It's the one that kind of started the whole alternative Christmas movie trend off, really.
It's the one that started it off outside of the horror genre.
Yes.
Because horror had been doing it since the 70s.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, yeah, it's a great holiday movie, but it's also a great action movie, especially when you consider that it's a movie of the 80s that didn't feature the overblown, over-physiqued, over-steroided physiques of Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Lundgren, all those guys who were just beefcakes. He was a regular guy. It was the first time in a long time that a regular guy was the hero of a story.
Yeah, when you look at people like, again, one of my other favourite characters from again, this is more small screen, but if you look at characters like Jack Bauer from 24, that kind of everyman hero appeal, it starts here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Stallone turned it down, Schwarzenegger turned it down.
Oh my God, that would have been so ugly.
But Reynolds turned it down.
No offense, guys. I love Schwarzenegger. I love Stallone. But their physique and their acting temperament would not have worked with that movie at all. No, that would have been horrible.
Apparently, Burt Reynolds turned it down. And
Burt Reynolds could have done it, though.
James Caan is the other one I approached.
I would have difficulty seeing James Caan pulling off the comedy.
Yeah. Well, Burt Reynolds, yeah.
Burt Reynolds could have done it. But he was a little bit old at that point as well.
He was.
You get back round to that Sinatra sort of territory.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, again, I wouldn't have said that about Reynolds if I hadn't have seen Deliverance.
Oh, yeah, that was the first time I ever saw Burt Reynolds.
That was one of the last. I'd seen all of his comedy stuff.
I was like 6 when I saw that, and I tell you, the ending of that movie...
Oh my God, really?
Traumatized me.
You saw that?
I saw it in America.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw it in America. I was either 6 or 7. The first time I saw that movie.
Sorry.
And the ending of that movie, that traumatized me for quite a while. But that's an amazing movie. That's an amazing movie. But we're getting distracted. We're tangent.
Yes, there will be a tangent to that here outside of its normal place.
But in case you hadn't realised, we think this is a great movie and you should watch it if you haven't. Just to begin with.
And it was an honour to do it on the show, even though we did break it. I think it was the first one.
I think it was the first movie we ever broke, and it was a bit of a shock.
Damn you, Peter Weller, and your big shoulders.
Yes, indeed. I'd never noticed how tiny those air ducts were in there until you pointed it out, and I was like, oh, oops, we've got a problem. We've got an actual physical problem.
But there's a depth, there's a realism to this film, and that's partly because of the locations, because they shot it on Nakatomi Towers, which is Fox Plaza, which was still under construction. So a lot of the stuff that's in the film was because it was just there, because they were still building the
Yeah, absolutely. They used it because they had it, and they used it so well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you hadn't guessed by now, for Die Hard, it is definitely 2 thumbs up from me.
And 2 thumbs up from me.
You will have a joy with this film. And I would also say, yeah, you will probably enjoy the sequel and also number 3 as well, I think. Especially number 3, because they actually managed to get John McTiernan back to direct number 3.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
So they are worth watching. But this one in particular, and at this time of the year, if you're looking something a little bit different, if you don't want to be talking about Santa or Jack Frost or some other fictional mythical being, but you still want a bit of Christmas joy, this is not a bad place to start.
And if you do watch this, my new one that I'm advocating this year for alternative Christmas film that's not a horror film is Go from 1999.
Yes, you just caught me up on that one for the first time ever, and that's one heck of a not quite Christmas movie.
But we will leave you with this sage advice, and that is to believe in Allah, but to tie up your camel.
What he said.
Happy holidays, happy new year, and we will see you in 2023.
As always, guys, TTFN.